Both delegations led by the Afghan government side and the Taliban side have met the Emir of Qatar. There are intra-delegation talks which are scheduled, but right now both of these delegations are deciding who is going to be meeting whom. And to discuss that further, we have with us one member of the delegation, Mrs. Habiba Sarabi. Thank you very much for being with us. Describe to us how hopeful are you that these talks are going to yield some results, and what is going to be the future plan of action?
Thank you. We are here to have this talk and discussion. That's why this is the reason that we came along from Afghanistan to Doha for this talk. And then the people of Afghanistan desire for that talk and looking forward to this talk could be happen. And also now we have the support of all the international community, all the country and the region, that this talk should be happen. So that's why we do have hope for that. And the result, of course, it's a long way to go, and we will have a long discussion. And also, of course, it will be not very easy. It's a bumpy road, but we will see the result.
Your delegation has decided it's going to be a 6-member contact committee, which is going to be meeting with the Taliban first, setting out the agenda, and on Monday is going to be the first day probably of these intra-Afghan dialogue.
I think so. Yeah, tomorrow, which is Monday, the two delegations from both sides, the delegation from both sides will sit together and talk about some code of conduct, the procedure, rule and procedure, and also the agenda, setting the agenda.
How hopeful are you? Because as a woman member of the delegation, somebody who's representing one of the many minorities in Afghanistan, do you think that after 20 years, nearly 20 years of conflict, you will be able to convince the Taliban to give up violence and listen to you for what you want?
There is no further reason that both sides should continue for war and for conflict. We have to sit together to talk. There is no solution for that. The best solution, the better solution is to sit together to talk politically our issue, our problem, and also putting our idea and agenda at the table and talk about that and to get some result of that.
But you see that this is a very difficult situation. Even today, the Afghan government is saying there have been more than 18 attacks in the last 24 hours in various provinces. The Taliban is saying that there is a propaganda campaign that is being run against them. So there is a lack of trust, and it seems to be quite wide on both sides. How are you going to be able to bridge that?
There is lack of trust. Of course, it's common for every peace talk, every peace negotiation. This lack of trust can be happen. But unfortunately, of course, there is no evidence from Taliban side to say that it's a propaganda, because we have the evidence. We have the fire that happened to the area, or the blasting, or conflict. But anyway, we have yesterday we've got some positive gesture. It can be a step forward for building the trust. We have to build the trust. I think here in Qatar also we have to do some gesture, or to show some positive, to take some positive step for building the trust.
Thank you very much for speaking to us. And there you have it. This is the view from the Afghan delegation, that yes, there has been violence, that there might continue to be violence, but they're hopeful that this level of trust that does not exist between them is going to be built. As contact groups begin the negotiations, the intra-Afghan dialogues without international interlocutors, we've been hearing from diplomats saying that they are still here, they're still supporting it, but from a backseat. It is going to be weeks and months before this could yield results, but both sides are hopeful that this is a first step in the right direction.